It never fails. I missed the Bitcoin train. It's too late. That goose is cooked. Oh man, you couldn't be any more wrong. We are so early and Bitcoin is just getting started. Get out of the rigged fiat game and build your own future. Michael Saylor said the winning strategy is Bitcoin, and he couldn't be any more right. Bitcoin, despite being the asset of the decade, has so much more room to run. You want to win?
I don't want to get paid to lose. I want to win!
Well, let's go! And here we go with the tweet from GigaChad himself. The Bitcoin strategy is the winning strategy. And right here we have Microstrategy's performance since August 10th, 2020, when they adopted the Bitcoin strategy. Since then, Microstrategy Bitcoin up 107%, S&P 500 21%, NASDAQ 7%, gold -9%, bonds -18%, silver -24%. And we're just getting started. From March 2021, Bitcoin becomes the best performing asset of the decade, returning 10 times more than the NASDAQ. So after Bitcoin hit its all-time high in the 60,000s, Bitcoin became the best performing asset class of the decade with an annualized return of 230%. Data shows. What happened? The data, which was compiled by CEO of Compound Capital Advisors Charlie Bolello, examined the returns of the 17 best performing asset classes since 2011. Bitcoin's cumulative gains have exceeded 20 million%, far outpacing the cumulative gains of the NASDAQ 100 and US large caps, which recorded returns of 541% and 282% respectively. On an annualized scale, Bitcoin returned 230%, 10x higher than the NASDAQ 100, which was the second best performing asset class. Wait a minute, there is no second best. Even Jay Powell's getting that through his thick skull. Or he will eventually. Oh, and you say the decade's over. Well, what about 2023? We have a whole video on Goldman Sachs bending the knee, but Goldman Sachs ranks Bitcoin as the best performing asset of 2023, despite the massive setbacks that the crypto industry suffered in 2022, including multiple bankruptcies and fraud investigations. The banking giant Goldman Sachs has ranked Bitcoin as the best performing asset in the world this year, according to the year-to-date asset return report by Goldman Sachs. A former vocal critic of Bitcoin, the maiden crypto has performed better than the likes of the S&P 500, gold, real estate, and the NASDAQ 100. On top of that, Bitcoin has outperformed MSCI Emerging Markets Index, MSCI Developed Markets, Energy, Information Technology, Financials, 10-year U.S. Treasury, Healthcare, Utilities, Materials, Crude Oil, Consumer Staples, and many more. We'll have this chart down in the notes for you to check out. Again, guys, I mean, what's it gonna take for people to figure it out?
Crypto asset. Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. What's the second best? There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin.
It's going up forever, Laura. All right, now we're going to check out a few charts here. This is priced in Bitcoin, okay? Priced in Bitcoin21.com. Go check that out. So here is the US dollar when you price it in Bitcoin. And as we can look right here, over the course of the past 5 years, the US dollar is down 58.81%. And that's in a log scale. Check this out. Headed to its rightful eventual price of none other than zero. All right, what else can we price in Bitcoin? Let's check out lumber. So you got anyone building houses, buying houses, etc. has seen the cost of houses, rent, the cost to build a house, the cost to buy a house, all mortgages, all these things going up. But when you price lumber in Bitcoin, what do we got? Down and to the right. And over the 5-year span, lumber is down 68.5% when you use a money that doesn't steal from you. Again, let's take that off log scale. Boop, boom. Next up, ain't nobody like going to the gas pump these days, and that is a struggle for everyone. Energy costs, the cost to travel, the cost to move, everything goes up when the cost of energy and gasoline goes up. But as we can look, yet again, when you price in Bitcoin, in Satoshis, the cost of goods goes down over time. And in this case, gasoline has gone down 43.28% over the past 5 years when priced in Satoshis. Wait a minute, what are we looking at here? What is it? What could it be?
There is no second best.
All right, so we got that. Make sure you're checking out Priced in Bitcoin 21. But what else do we have? Let's go check out have some fun here at bitcoinorshit.com. Let's see. This might make you feel bad, but your feelings, okay? All right, let's get it started here. If you bought Bitcoin instead of a Kylie Jenner lip kit, you'd have $7,945 and 0.33 Bitcoin. Oh, this one's gonna sting. If you bought Bitcoin instead of Coachella tickets, you'd have $40,404, 1.68 Bitcoin. Those tickets were from April 19th, 2015. Shit. Okay. If you bought Bitcoin instead of a Dyson vacuum, you'd have $30,900, 1.29 Bitcoin as of May 1st, 2015. And this one's for the cucks. If you bought Bitcoin instead of a Impossible Burger, you'd have $248, 0.01 Bitcoin as of July 1st, 2016. Is this PTSD? Here's to all you pervs out there. If you bought Bitcoin instead of 50 Shades of Grey, you'd have $479,440, 19.99 Bitcoin as of May 1st, 2011. Oof. Oh, this one hurts me deep. If you bought Bitcoin instead of a PS4, you'd have $25,801, approximately 1.08 Bitcoin as of November 13th, 2013. Good God. All right, let's get back to GigaChad, who shared an article from Jesse Myers' Substack. Bitcoin is competing against gold, collectibles, art, equities, real estate, bonds, and money as a store of value in the 21st century. Crisis Bitcoin analyzes the opportunity and makes a compelling case for $10 million per Bitcoin. Oh, that's wild, you say? Well, let's go break it down. Let's see what he came up with. Now, not going to go through the whole article. That will be down in the show notes. Feel free to check that out. But let's see here. From Satoshi, February 18th, 2009, as the number of users grows, the value per coin increases. It has the potential for a positive feedback loop. As users increase, the value goes up, which would attract more users to take advantage of the increasing value. I like this chart on the various market caps. Money, 120 trillion. Bonds, 300 trillion. Real estate, 330 trillion. Gold, 12 trillion. Art, 18 trillion. Then we got cars and collectibles, about 6 trillion. Equities, 115 trillion. So how does this play out? Now, what they came up with was the total addressable market. All value was approximately 900 trillion. And they go through here, what would Bitcoin's potential value be? Now, if we go down, 900 trillion total market cap, if Bitcoin were to capture approximately 25% of that, that brings about a $200 trillion market cap, meaning approximately 10 million per Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin is the best asset out there, it is foolish to expect that everyone will eventually decide to be 100% Bitcoin. It is also unrealistic to expect that Bitcoin will remain 0.05% allocation on the world's balance sheet. Overall, my personal assessment of where the ceiling is for Bitcoin is simple. It's very high, almost to the point that I'm embarrassed to show my analysis. My conservative estimates suggest an outrageous full potential for Bitcoin's price, 10 million per Bitcoin in today's dollars. To put this another way, I believe Bitcoin's full potential is to eat approximately 25% of the world's value. While today it constitutes just 0.05%, that's absurd. That means that I believe Bitcoin could 500x over the coming decades in real inflation terms. This is by no means guaranteed, but I think that it is more likely than not, which makes Bitcoin the most attractive asset in the investable landscape in terms of expected value. Even if you think there's only a 10% chance that the analysis here is accurate, that means your expected value of Bitcoin is a 50x. If this all sounds crazy, and it probably does, it might be worth adjusting my numbers to come up with your own. When you come up with your answer, remember to step back and ask yourself, do I have enough Bitcoin? And you're thinking, oh man, 10 million per Bitcoin, that's wild. Michael Saylor and Jesse Myers are not alone. Blockstream CEO and Bitcoin core developer Adam Back believes Bitcoin could be worth 10 million by 2032. The bold projection is based on a theory by Hal Finney, which rests on the mass adoption of Bitcoin to catapult its market cap to 200 trillion, which goes back to Myers' article. And also, let's check out what the great Hal Finney had to say. But before we get to the great Hal Finney, in case you need another reminder,
There is no second best.
Caesar gets it. Caesar is home. But here we go. Early Bitcoin contributor projected 10 million Bitcoin price 10 years ago. Dr. Bitcoin MD, you think Bitcoin Twitter is bullish? Hal Finney was calculating a Bitcoin price of 10 million per coin just 1 week after the Genesis block on January 3rd, 2009. What an absolute legend. Here's what Hal Finney had to say. It's interesting that the system can be configured to only allow a certain maximum number of coins ever to be generated. I guess the idea is that the amount of work needed to generate a new coin will become more difficult as time goes on. One immediate problem with any new currency is how to value it. Even ignoring the practical problem that virtually no one will accept it at first, there is still a difficulty in coming up with a reasonable argument in favor of a particular non-zero value for the coins. As an amusing thought experiment, imagine that Bitcoin is successful and becomes the dominant payment system in use throughout the world. Then the total value of the currency should be equal to the total value of all the wealth in the world. Current estimates of total worldwide household wealth that I have found range from 100 trillion to 300 trillion. With 20 million coins, that gives each coin a value of about $10 million. So the possibility of generating coins today with a few cents of compute time may be quite a good bet, with a payoff of something like 100 million to 1. Even if the odds of Bitcoin succeeding to this degree are slim, are they really 100 million to 1 against? That's something to think about. Hal Finney knew.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. It's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon. Yeah. We can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% dominance is bullshit, ridiculous, stupid, right? Like it's stupid. It's not 60% dominant. It's like 96% or 95% dominant, right? The thing, if you compare it as a crypto asset to a like kind of proof of work crypto network, right? That's meant to be a store of value. You know, you're lucky if you can scrape together 5% of other stuff in the last bucket. So there is no real competitor.
There is no real competitor. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to save in cuck bucks the rest of your life? I mean, look at this thing. You're talking about a goose that's cooked. Look at this. From Wall Street Silver, soon to exceed $1 trillion per year in interest payment on the debt. Annualized interest on debt in billions of dollars. That looks totally sustainable. Should be fine. Nothing to worry about, guys. Dollars got it all figured out. You ever seen something destined to fail? Oh, wait, there's more. Bitcoin legend and macro heavyweight shared an article from Zero Hedge, Lawrence Lepard. And if you can look at this chart, we've kind of touched on this on the show before. But this cycle, prepare to be bled dry by a decade of stagflation. What's that look like? Initially, inflation crushes consumer disposable income, reversing the wealth effect, deflationary shock, which leads to surging unemployment. Then we have the great stagflation, insufficient real economic growth. Then de-dollarization, as we've seen with BRICS and other things, leading to debt crisis and hyperinflation because there's no home for these extra dollars to go, and then eventually a fiat currency failure. Again, Bitcoin is a winning recipe. The dollar and fiat is a guaranteed loss. You're guaranteed to lose your purchasing power in the future. What should you do? What can you do? It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But as XXXBTC says here, stay humble, stack sats. Wait, stack sats is the only way? Always has been. And don't forget, stay humble. And again, it's getting bleaker and darker out there. The outlook continues to grow rather grim. Morgan Stanley says stocks are in a death spiral, sees a 26% drop in the coming months, which this feeds into many who projected the recession to come in Q2, Q3 of 2023. So looks like we're right on pace. Why would you take part in a guaranteed to lose strategy? It's 10th grade math, as the great Greg Foss always says. As interest rates go higher, the probability of default goes higher. Ceteris paribus, it is not surprising that CDS default protection on sovereign debt is increasing. Investors are rightfully worried Bitcoin is CDS for the people, with no counterparty risk. And we know people are suffering all over the world. Lebanon, Argentina, Sri Lanka, Nigeria, all these fiat currencies starting to collapse. Individuals everywhere are waking up to Bitcoin, but so are the big dogs. As Michael Saylor says here, billionaires are looking for Bitcoin, but don't know it yet. And when they do, the floodgates will open up, and it'd be a good thing to have some Bitcoin on hand. Again, you got the best performing asset of the decade, the best performing asset of the year, and it's just getting started. 3 very intelligent individuals see the future of Bitcoin in the millions. And you saw the math, it's not that far-fetched. Let's close it out right here with GG. There is no second best. Satoshi's invention is singular. It is the discovery of digital scarcity. Ignore the noise of crypto. Focus on Bitcoin. And one more time.
What's the second best? There's no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right?
Don't be left on the sidelines or stuck with anything less than the best. Friday, we're going to go more in depth on inflation versus deflation. For more on Bitcoin from GigaChad Michael Saylor, check out this video further describing why there is no second best. Tune in to Simply Bitcoin and catch Simply Bitcoin live Monday through Friday at 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. Tune out from the lamestream media. Turn off the TV. Opt out of the system that forces you to use money that steals from you. There's a better way. Until next time, peace.